Why, hello, folks. I'd ask if you can hear me okay, but there's no one here to hear. So I'm just going to, I guess, rant for a little while. My ranting draws raves until people show up. Tell you why I'm here tonight. It's just, lots been going on in my channel, among my YouTube community, and I just thought it might be a nice opportunity to just make sure all the bases are covered so information doesn't slip through the cracks. One thing, for example, I didn't bother to tell anybody I was doing a live stream. This was completely impromptu. I know a lot of you sometimes sit and get disappointed. 1,000 apologies. Oh, Space Cadet Explorer just joined us. Hello, Space Cadet Explorer. Welcome to the party. New subscribers always welcome. Can you hear me okay, by the way? I'm testing a new microphone. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it works less than great. Got a backup on my headphones, but I'd like to use this as a gift. So, and oh, Mr. Led in the house. Hey, Mr. Led, how's it going? Oh, Space Cadet says sounds great. That's good to hear. Yes, that was actually one of the things. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Action Elite, but I actually guested on their channel last night. I was getting some feedback. We're not sure if it was my mic or somebody else's, but I turned it off and went with my headphones, so I just wanted to make sure. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I'll wait for some more people to show up before I actually start covering my bases. I'm gonna try to get that glare there. It's weird the way my little office space is set up here. It goes from either like something out of an H.P. Lovecraft short story to this sort of overwhelming background glare where I get washed out. So, um, thank you for mentioning the camera. It does seem a bit jumpy tonight, by the way. That actually might have more to do. I'm from the Northeast, as you know, and there were a lot of electrical storms going on up here that might have something to do with the transfer. Um, I watch it. I've been watching myself, and it seems to kind of come and go. So we'll just have to endeavor to persevere and see where this takes us. Um, why, look, Tracy Ross Myers in the house. Hello, Tracy. Good to see you. You are always welcome in my community. I'm sure you guys all already know, but just in case, I'll cover this again a little bit later. The big thing that I wanted to say is Mr. ENC, his wife Joyce passed on after a long battle with cancer, and we all just wanted to say, Ian, take care of yourself, and we're very, very, very sorry for your loss. I will cover that later when more people show up, just to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks. But that's the main thing I want covered, because poor Ian is. Last time I saw him, he looked just exhausted, and I'm sure he was. And I just wanted to know that we're all pulling for him. Why, look, BK on the air is in the house, says Hey Thrash. And hey to you. Hey, can you guys see the comments, or do I need to post them? I remember last time John Connolly said they weren't posting, and then they were, and then they were available in the replay. So if you guys can't see the comments, let me know. Space Cadet Explorer says, I know I'm getting a little bit of humming. Well, keep me posted. But it's not loud, it's really low. That actually might be background noise. I have family members in the back of the house sort of mulling about doing their own thing, but keep me posted. Let's see. Trey Rosmeyer says, I feel so bad for Ian. Actually, let me try something here. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. I thought I could actually put you on the screen, and I can't. I almost reported you. And Tracy, I'm sorry. I would never report you. She just goes on to say, yes, we're all pulling for him. And Mr. Led says, not posted. Let me try something here. Did that get it? Let me just see. Oop, wrong control. Tracy says I would not do that to you either. Mr. Led says no, it's still not posting, huh, folks? This is weird. Apparently, like I said, Johnny was saying that happened before that the chat wasn't available during the live stream, but for some reason it was available in the way. Yeah, let me try one more thing without. No, that's not working. Well, I will just read the chats as we go. How does that sound? Although half the fun is when you guys get to actually chat with each other. So I'll keep working on it. There we go. Oh, Jay Elbridge in the house. Hi, Thrash. How are you? I'm doing just fine. How are you, Jay? Crapshoot Creation says big high five. That's his trademark. Big high five. See everyone post. Oh, did it work? Can you guys actually see each other? Well, keep me posted. Um, while more and more of you are joining in, and this is half the fun, by the way. People seem to like, you know, start the longer I stand here and babble, or sit here and babble, I should say, the more people actually show up. So I'm going to continue with that. Um, oh, Mr. Wood says the chat is up but not showing in your window. That's weird. Well, anyway, while I have you, and before I start telling you about all the stuff going on, as you guys all know, I've been actually experimenting with a lot of different posts. This whole thing started out as a sci-fi horror book and movie review show, and I still do that from time to time. It's still my major love. Well, that and old war films, of course, as you know. But I've been doing the creepy classics, and I had some good feedback with my wretched recaps, which are basically read throughs I do with old vintage comic books, usually of the schlock variety, and of course the top 10 dad jokes and a few other things I've experimented with. What type of posts have I been doing lately? Have you guys enjoyed the most and would like to see more of? I even tried a reading the other day of one of my old Camelot magazine articles. I'd be happy to read more of those if you guys found that amusing, although it might be funner to just go to the magazine and read them yourselves. But tell me, what would you guys like to see me do? And I will try to do more of it. And having blabbed, I'll see. Oh, Trader of Meyer says, I need to call Ian and ask him for his address. I need to send him something. I'll pass that on to him, Tracy. I'll definitely will. Jay Eldridge said, I show only one like. Hit the like button. What Jay said. Jay's become our cheerleader, by the way. He's always like, yes, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. I don't know if you guys noticed this. I've been actually opening now. Rather than saying at the end of my posts, I say at the beginning, hit like and subscribe. Because I gotta be honest, when I go to other people's posts, even people like Dave and Pat, oftentimes I find that I forget to hit the like button unless they actually say it. And I consider myself a professional. So believe it or not, saying hit the like and hit subscribe actually goes a long way. So anyway, what he said. Speaking of which, Space Cadet Explorer just said, "Thanks, Jay. I forgot. Yes, Space Cadet, we all do. Same page club." A couple other things, by the way. I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to see it, but if you guys remember Owen from the Action Elite, he actually guested on an earlier ENC post that I did with them, where we of course were talking about action movies, and he invited us to be on his channel. Ian was able to make it. I was not. I had to work. But last night he talked about one of my favorite sword and sorcery movies of all time, John Borman's 1981's Excalibur. Anyway, so last night I was on the Action Elite with his other panelists, and we had what I thought was an outstanding discussion of Excalibur. So, any of you Excalibur fans out there, or people who haven't seen the movie and want to be convinced to check it out, please check out the Action Elite discussion on Excalibur. What the heck? Go to Owen's other posts as well. He has some great stuff out there if you like old action films, which I eat up. Mr. Lid says, I read the Mag Thrash, some good stuff there. I'm so glad you like the Gamelon stuff. Oh, Mr. Ted also writes a number of articles as well. And I think there's even a third guy who writes from time to time. But I have known Ted, the impresario of Gamelon magazine, for over 40 years. I think we met in middle school. He's like one of my oldest friends. And he put this magazine together some time ago, and I've been freelance writing for him, and we've been having a lot of fun. I'm supposed to have a breakfast with him next Monday. We might do another surprise live chat. Keep your fingers crossed. Of course, it won't be a surprise. Now, Tracy Rothmeyer says, hit the like button, folks. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy says you should do a classic Doctor Who chat up. You know, I've been promising Ken Wilkinson that for ages. I really should. What I need to do is I need to go through and pull out everything I've got on Doctor Who. It's actually fairly extensive, and actually put something together. He wanted me to do a list of one of my top 10 list on Doctor Who jokes. I couldn't get it to 10. I've only been able to come up with 5, and of course, quality over quantity. If I can come up with 5 more Doctor Who jokes, I will. But what I'll probably do is do it in installments and do the top 5 Doctor Who jokes and then another top 5 to round out the top 10 later on. But again, I've had a lot of requests for Doctor Who. If you saw one of my earlier posts on Things to Come, the old English epic film, which, well, I don't want to give the game away. I actually cover it greatly on one of the posts on my site. I actually discuss how it not only was the alpha patient of the post-apocalyptic subgenre, but it was a huge inspiration to Doctor Who and its thousand-year wars between the Culls and the Thals on Skaro, which of course led to the dialects. So please check out my post on Things to Come if you're a Doctor Who fan, or even if you are not, just check that out. Oh, North Alabama Cryptid has joined us. Oh, North Alabama, have you subscribed to my channel as well, by the way? I've noticed a lot of Danny's friends have been subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe. And of course, welcome to the party. And he says, hey, Thrash Pondo, and hey to you. Dave Sunstrom in the house. Dave, hello to you. While we have you, I haven't got any notifications. Do you have anything going on tonight at the 8:30 variety? If you do, I'm looking forward to it. If not, I'll wait till your next one. Either way, don't worry. I'll be done long before that. Jay Albert says, how about reviewing movies? Just a suggestion, but I like whatever you want to do with your channel. Yeah, actually, again, that's actually how I started. If you go to some of my earlier posts, which are even less polished than my more current posts, I do a number of movie reviews. Things to Come, I was just talking about. An old schlock sci-fi classic, Warriors of the Wasteland, also known as Phoenix the Warrior, and some others. And I have a great top 10 list on a game changer theory for the Warriors. So if you're a Warriors fan, please check that out. Warriors come out to play. Skipping down, Mr. Lid said, oh, everyone's saying, are you doing anything tonight? Thrash Pondo has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to movies. His reviews are great. Dave, thank you very, very much. Oh, and Dave says, yes, he is on at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to it. I thought so, but when I missed the notifications, I like to have a confirmation. Oh, Jay says, yay! Not sure who was saying yay to, but love the enthusiasm. Oh, Dave says, gotta run. Still prepping for tonight's live stream. Just wanted to say hi. Dave, you are always welcome. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in a couple of hours. Well, hour and a half. We'll go with that. Space Kid Explorer says, ooh. Hey, Brian, there's a message in my alphabets. It says, ooh. Peter, those are Cheerios. Old Family Guy humor. Let's see. I'm actually caught up. Oh, a couple more things. my good friend, another good friend in our YouTube community, Mr. Pat McCormick from the Golden Rage of TV, Retro TV Trivia. He has asked that everyone push and promote his channel. The Golden Rage, he's got some great stuff. They're very cute. They're very funny. They have a lot of great insight into old vintage TV, classic sitcoms, and old sci-fi like Outer Limits and whatnot. If you like old vintage television, please go check out the Golden Rage of TV. Subscribe and like as many of his videos as you see fit, and try to forward them. He puts a lot of work into his channel, and I feel he deserves way, way, way more subscribers. He just did a whole thing, and as Danny will attest to, Danny's been pushing his exploits at the first CroftCon. He did a lot of work there. Oh, and speaking of CroftCon, hey Danny, Mr. Dan Staten and I have canned material for an upcoming show, one of several we have planned on Bigfoot and Wild Boy. I gotta get. I tried to do a live stream on YouTube. It's possible, but for some reason I can't do it with my system. So I need to set up StreamYard. I just wasn't able to do it this week. So Danny, I have not forgotten about you. I should have the StreamYard up and going, I'd say hopefully by the middle of next week, and we will take it from there. Next week's my last week. My granddaughter has school, by the way, so I won't have to take her to and from school, so I'll have more free time during the day. Oh, Zooperblix says, "Oh, Zooperblix in the house. This is a surprise." Yes, Zoop, this was a surprise. Just had a lot going on in the last week or two, and decided to do a surprise live chat. And every time I do, I get a whole bunch of people who just join on. So I figured it's a surprise for you, and it's a surprise for me. So welcome to the party, Zoop. Mr. Lid says, "Everybody, Thrash has an amazing amount of knowledge about a bunch of things. Thank you so much. I've been acquiring it for years. Pity I can't find a more practical use for it." Space Kid Explorer says, "Love it. Thank you. Thank you." Skipping down. Oh, Jailbird says, "I love people reviewing comedy movies like Top Secret and Airplane." I was just talking about Top Secret the other day, of course, because Maverick came out, so people are talking about Val Kilmer. And the first thing I remember seeing Val Kilmer in the theaters with this girl who friend zoned me was, even though, no, that's another story, was Top Secret, which was his first big starring role, which was sort of it was very much like Airplane. It was a spoof on all those old war movies. I could do Top Secret. I could also do Airplane. I could do a whole thing on spoofs. I would probably open with Gene Wilder and Young Frankenstein. That's probably my favorite comedy of all time. Let's see. Oh, Gary Carpenter in the house. Hello there, Thrash Pondo. Hello to you too, Gary. Welcome to the party. Let's see. Mouse says, "I fell asleep there, but I feel." I'm sorry. I was all prepared when I woke up. Pat's was finished. Yes, I'm very sorry. I couldn't make it to Pat's show last night. I was actually doing the Action Elite, their show on Excalibur. In fact, for those of you who came in late to the party, that's where I was yesterday. Owen from Action Elite, he actually did a show with Ian and I several months ago. He had been trying to get me on for some time, but I always had to work on nights when he was doing his show. Last night he did Excalibur, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, and he actually did it on a Wednesday. And unfortunately, that means I had to miss Pat's show on Wednesday. I hope Pat wasn't too hurt that I abandoned him. Jailbridge says, "Sad to hear Retro Serial's wife passed away. Prayers for him." Yes, again, thank you. That was what I opened with when I started tonight's live stream. Was yes, Mr. Ian C's wife lost her epic battle with cancer, and we're all very, very sad for her. Oh yeah, Gary Carpenter says, "I didn't realize you were on." No, this was entirely impromptu. I've just been, like I said, a lot of things have been going on with both my channel and others, and I thought maybe the best way to keep everybody in the loop was do an impromptu live chat. And I'm always amazed by how many people jump on when I do, and I'm very amazed all you folks are here. So I'm glad you did it. And to anybody who doesn't make it to tonight's, I apologize in advance, and I'll be sure to do that also when I'm on Dave's. Well, I'll be in the chat with you all in Dave's channel later on this evening. Oh, Space Cadet Explorer says the name of that channel was the Golden Rage channel. It's the Golden Rage of TV. I would do a link, but every time I do a link, it goes missing. It's the missing link. But yes, the Golden Rage of TV. You can almost see it on my shirt here. And it's done by Pat McCormick, who is he's just a great, he's a mensch. He really is. He really is. Oh, Zublick says to Tracy, I'm assuming, thought you slept through. Amazing. maybe everyone fell asleep during it. Zublick says, how long were you working at a video rental store? If that was directed towards me, it wasn't video rental. We were something called sell through. I don't know if you guys remember Suncoast Video. We were part of the Sam Goody outfit. They sold music. We sold movies. And so we were responsible for, you'd come in, well, speak of the devil, hold that thought, Superplex. I have to say hello to the Golden Rage of TV. Golden Rage of TV, Pat says, with you, Thrash. Yes, and I don't know if you were here a few minutes earlier, but I apologize for not being able to be on your show. I was a guest on the Action Elite last night. We talked about Excalibur. So forgive me for missing your party. I won't make a habit of it. But yes, I worked for a video store which sold movies, and it was possibly the best job I ever had. And I'm still not quite over it yet. Gary Carpenter says, the signal is bad here. We just had a storm here in NC. Two things. What part of NC? My dad lives in Raleigh. My sister lives on the coast at Wilmington, I want to say. But when I first started my live chat, it was really, really glitchy as well. And we have some nasty thunderstorms coming through this way. So if I go in and out, apologies in advance. The Golden Rage of TV says, hey, I am the missing link. Da-da-da. Yeah, so now that we can see the chats, be sure to subscribe to Pat at the Golden Rage of TV. He's been doing some great stuff there on Vintage Television, and will continue to do more. Ugh. Mr. Lid says, Tracy, be careful in the heat. It was 94 here in PA. Ugh. It's been in the high 70s here on Cape Cod, but it's probably going to be in the high 80s tomorrow. Not looking forward to it. I'm going to have to install my AC, even though I think I tore my rotary cuff. At least something I keep telling my wife. Pat says, thank you, buddy. No, thank you. Zumaplex says, Pat almost got into Cher's undergarments. That sounds like a great story. But I thought he was a Sagittarius or something, and Pat will tell the story much better than I could. So I think we both have a couple of great stories there. Gary Carpenter says, so sorry for his loss. R.I.P. He, of course, is referring to Joyce, Ian's missus. Yes, we are all very, very sad for her loss. Tracy Ross Myers, it's 97 here in Florida. Let me guess, Miami. Let's see. A lot of people having fellowship with each other, so I'm going to skip down. And Gary Carpenter says, I live in Lincoln County. Not sure what part of North Carolina that is, but I can look it up at least. It's a big state, at least compared to Massachusetts. By my understanding, it's bigger than all of New England combined. Twitter Myers says, oh, nope, Tallahassee. Wow. I could have been much farther off now, could I? You're my Tallahassee lassie. And no, I will not sing. No, I did not share. I almost got into her band, not her pants. Yeah, but you know how Superplex says it's always going to be a much more sordid story. Yes, and if I remember correctly, please fill in the details. She couldn't have people of your zodiacal sign in her band because it wasn't a good mesh for her, if I remember correctly. I remember it was a very tragic story, but supposing my father met her once when he was getting divorced from my mother. That's all he'd tell me. Trader Miles is still laughing at me. Everyone does. Okay, and while I have so many of you here, again, a question, by the way, is of all the new innovations I've been trying on my channel, which do you guys think most effective, and what would you like to see more of? Would you like me to do more with vintage comics? Would you like me to do more creepy top 40 classics? Stick with the dad jokes. People have already suggested do more movie reviews. Love the idea of spoof comedies. Feel free to make suggestions. All donations welcome. Mr. Led says she didn't deserve you, Pat. Well, who does? Pat says I deserved her. Holy cow! Zach McDonald is in the house. Mr. Zach, it is so good to see you. Been a while since I saw you. Glad you could make it. He says, I love them all. Thank you. I praise from Caesar. I do work very, very hard at them, and therefore I shall keep doing all of them. And welcome to the party. Zuplex says, comics, T-Pons. Okay, I will put a wretched recap in the mix with all deliberate speed. Gary Carpenter says the southern part. Well, in my opinion, all of North Carolina is the southern part. But I gotcha. Mr. Lid says the movie with Strother Martin about the man trying to create a snake-human hybrid. Either that or he's saying dollar signs and suggests that I do more with money. Perhaps I could parlay a review of into money. I'm beating this joke to death. I'd say I was a sadistic, bestial necrophiliac, but that would be beating a dead horse. Nothing. So let's see. Either way, I'm on top of it, Mr. Led, and thank you and keep watching. Golden Ranger TV says she was shockingly beautiful in 1989. She's still shockingly beautiful now. Oh, Zach McDonald says, I'm mostly here for the dad jokes. A lot of people are, and I gotta tell you, I've been trying to crank them out as much as possible. The only thing is, while I certainly do borrow some from other sources, most of the ones I do, I actually write myself, and that's why they come out rather sporadically. I try to get as much of my own original material, or it's just me rehashing it. I do have a top 5 of the top 5 worst Doctor Who jokes, which was a special request from friend of channel Ken Wilkinson. But I will have more bad jokes with all deliberate speed. I could even do a few more of my humorous top 10s. One of the posts I'm most proud of actually is actually the top 10 list of superfluous top 10 lists. And that's not so much jokes as just me being irreverent. So check that one out and see if you like more just silly top 10 lists. I can certainly do more of those. Space Cadet Explorer says all. Gee, you guys are just very accommodating. You like all of my material. Well, then more all you shall get. Give it your all. Superplex says 89 is 33 years ago. Wow, you should be on What's My Quantity. Yes, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Oh, I miss the 80s. I'm even starting to miss the 90s. Skipping down. Trader Muzz says, "Oi, hey, dead horse." I know that was terrible. That was terrible. Mr. Led says that was money for Pat, but anything you do is good and pretty funny. Thank you. That's another thing. I've got to set up a Patreon page. I've got to start making a bit of dough on this. By the way, I just at the moment it's still a hobby, but everyone says get a Patreon page, and I will certainly accept all donations when that day comes. Zuplex says, what, no mom jokes? My mom lives with me, and I think if I told mom jokes, she'd punish me. And yes, she could still do it. Gary Carpenter says, I had a friend of mine, his brother lived in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah, it seems everybody lives in Raleigh. If people from North Carolina, if you don't live in Raleigh, you know somebody from Raleigh. Hey, it's a great city. I love it there. Even my granddaughter loves it there, and she hates everything. Lance Chaffin says, "Hey, you Thrash. Hey, Lance. Good to see you. Glad you could make it to another one of my impromptu live chats." Uh, Oh, Goldridge of TV says, Gnome Home. That's a reference to an earlier dad joke of mine. What was Eve T's favorite artificial lawn decoration? The phone gnome. Nothing. Lance Chapin asks, Hey Thresh, how is Ian doing? Last time I saw him, he was just, just exhausted. He did a quick channel update the other day where he made sure everybody knew about his wife's passing. Haven't talked to him in a couple of days, giving me a chance to just between all the arrangements and just trying to get some sleep. I figured he could just kind of use a little bit of a breather. But when I know, you know, you'll know. But right now, just we should all just keep praying for him. North Alabama. I can't talk tonight. Cryptid says, "Okay, I'm back. Had to get the groceries in. Trust me, more than I understand. And for what you have to pay for groceries these days, you can't afford to let them sit around. Glad you business before pleasure, as it were. But glad you're back. And again, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Oh wow, my weather monitor just went blank. That's a very bad sign. So if I suddenly go blip, I'm not ditching you people. It's just like I say, there's symmetrical storms in this area, so I might go blip. Trader Mars says, please get a Patreon. I'm taking that as a hint that you want to donate. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Yes, I certainly will. Zuplex says, I live with my mom too, T-Pawns. There's a lot of that going around, by the way. I call it our loft. As you folks know, I live in a split level, and she has taken over a portion of the downstairs. So I call it a reverse loft because it's on the underside as opposed to the oversize side. Oversize. Sides over. Over there. Over there. Space Cadet Explorer says, ha ha ha. I'm assuming that's the dad joke. Lance Javin said, be safe, Thrash. Certainly give it my best. Lisa Fields in the house. I was hoping you'd make it because, again, this is another impromptu live chat, and you seem to miss the impromptu ones. And then I always feel guilty that I didn't let you know in advance. But I'm so glad you made it. Welcome, Lisa. You are always welcome here in my channel. The Golden Age of TV says, a Thrash classic. What do you get when you mix an iPad with a Christmas tree? That's one of mine. I that sounds familiar, but I am so embarrassed. You know, I'm like the Nowhere Man, where I have to go back and reread what I wrote because I don't always know everything I know. That little blue light you see over here, by the way, that's my weather monitor going haywire. I'm trying to actually watch that to make sure we don't get another tornado. We get tornadoes up here on Cape Cod now. Seriously, we never got them before, and then in the last 5 years, we've gotten like a dozen of them, and I can't. If there's one thing, we get hurricanes not ill frequently, but I gotta tell you, tornadoes, I can't. Gary Carpenter says, have you ever heard of Lizard Lick, North Carolina? I have not. There's got to be a joke in there somewhere. What are those toads that secrete the hallucinogenic? But that's they're reptiles. They're amphibians, not lizards. Let's see, skipping down. Oh, Golden Rage. Yes, a pineapple, but a bump. The pineapple. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know that, but I'm sure if I go through enough of my old posts, I'll find. Was that the Christmas one I did? But either way, I'll probably use it again. I've actually done that. I've actually reposted old jokes, forgetting that I posted them on other stuff. But then again, so few people see my posts, it's still new to them. Teresa Rosmeyer says, we get hurricanes too. I know for some reason, maybe you could explain it to me. The Gulf gets more hurricanes these days than the Atlantic coast. My grandmother used to live, God rest, she used to live in Inglewood. And there was like one summer, she got like 3 or 4 hurricanes. And she's like, yeah, we get them all the time in the Gulf Coast now. And I'm like, that's crazy. There was one time it came up the east coast of Florida, then cut across, and then went into the Gulf. Probably more than once, but Zublik says we get a lot of hurricanes. North Alabama Cryptid had a message retracted. I'm sure it wasn't that bad. Don't worry. Gold Ridge of TV said, love that. Yes, it was. Okay, it's all coming back to me now. Daryl Johnson in the house says, hey, guys. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, man? Lance Javin says, hey, Thresh, what do you call a Dr. Pepper? A physician. That's good. That's good. I'm going to use that. Zublik says it's the path of the hurricanes. Yeah, somebody explained to me. I guess the way Florida dips, it creates a. I don't know. Meteorology is not something I know a lot of. I do go to a lot of the weather channels, and they've explained it to me, but I don't quite grok all the concepts. Oh, speaking of grok, Cindy D still wants me to do a live chat solely on Stranger in a Strange Land. Don't know if one book alone would a live chat make. But I was thinking of doing like a spotlight. In the same way I do reviews of books and movies in the channel, if I could do like a spotlight of Robert Heinlein or Harry Harrison or the works of Walter Hill in a live chat and discuss a body or a certain theme of a film, and then people could tell me what their favorites are and we could discuss them. And I bet occasionally you folks might even know some that I hadn't heard of. But let me know if you think that would work. Let's see. Gary, North Alabama Cryptid says, Gary Carpenter, we had a Slick Lizard restaurant in Navajo, Alabama, AL. If I said that wrong, please forgive me. But it sounds slick. Skipping down. Again, Daryl Johnson said, hit the like, everybody. Lance Jevin says, Walter Hill, The Warriors, and 48 Hours. That is a great combination. I love both of those movies, and they both have the guy, I could never remember his name. He played Luther in both movies. The head of the Rogues in The Warriors, and Luther the Skeeve in 48 Hours. And I think he's great, but I can't think of his name to save my life. I'm so embarrassed. But yeah, like I said, I'd love to do just like the Action Elite did a live chat on Walter Hill, which is what made me think of it. And those are two movies that came up a lot. But that's why I'd like to do something along those lines. Superplex says, never read the novel, but I don't have to because you summarized it for me. Well, thank you. He's referring, of course, to Stranger in a Strange Land. That was one of those books. It was on my bucket list for 30 years. I finally sat down and read it and did a review of it for a friend of the channel, Cindy D. Lance Chavin just said David Patrick Kelly. Yes, that's the young man's name. Young man, he's probably in his 60s. But thank you so much for it. It was killing me. Daryl Johnson said Gene Hackman. He didn't play Luther, but I'm sure Gene Hackman was in one of the movies we were talking about. And the Golden Ridge of TV says, speaking of the Warriors, go. One more win. Not quite seeing the connection. I'm sure it will occur to me at some point. Mr. Lid says 75 is cold for California, isn't it? Ew. Well, it depends on what part of California. You go like north of San Francisco, it gets pretty almost like New Englandish, from what I understand. I've actually never been to the Pacific Coast. Closest I've ever gotten was Las Vegas, and it gets pretty warm in Las Vegas, let me tell you. Zublik says Swamp Thing, couple of different versions. I'm assuming you mean the one with Adrienne Barbeau. All about it. Gary Carpenter says Lizard Lick is close to Raleigh. I love the term Lizard Lick. I love that. It's like there's a song in there somewhere. Golden Ridge of TV says I'm in the Central Coast. Never gets too hot. Basketball. That's what he was referring to. Oh, Zuplik says, T-Pawns, have you ever seen The French Connection? Of course, Popeye Doyle. Of course. I went through a phase where I still love cop movies, but I used to watch a lot of them, and it's a great flick. I got to watch it again. I don't think I've seen it probably since I was in college, which is almost 10 years ago. But yes, I have seen it. It's great. Let's see. A lot of people talking about the weather. Zublik says, not smart to applaud the Warriors to someone from Massachusetts. I'm assuming we're speaking of, the playoffs. That's right. They're playing tonight, too, by the way. And go Celtics! They're gonna win, so I'm not worried. But I, of course, am referring to the Walter Hill Classic, the Warriors, and not the second-rate basketball team. Yeah, I went there. Pat from Golden Rage says Gene Hackman is awesome in that. Yes, I'm sure he is. In as Popeye Doyle in the French Connection, he certainly was. He certainly was. Mr. Lynn says, Thrash is obviously not a b-ball fan. I'm not really a sports fan at all, to be honest with you. I must confess. I did know the Celtics were playing the Warriors tonight, but I'll be too busy on Dave's channel, so I won't be watching the game. But hey, the news they had a clairvoyant dog. This lady has a Labrador Retriever, which predicts games, and the Labrador Retriever has predicted that the Celtics will destroy the Warriors tonight. And a telekinetic Labrador Retriever is good enough in my book. I wonder if his name was Blood from Blood is a Rover. Google it. Oh, okay, I'll tell you. It's a boy and his dog. A movie that can never be made these days. Skipping. Gee, I missed a lot of comments there while I was on that little rant there. Mr. Led, obviously not a b-ball fan. Yeah, again, not a huge sports fan, but again, another Celtic win. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says, we live inland from the coast, and Hurricane Hugo was very bad. Sometimes they go inland. A couple of times just in my lifetime, hurricanes have actually, they go up, there's this like the Connecticut River. There's like this like valley in the middle of New England. Usually they nail the coast, but a couple of times they go right up through this like low-lying area and they destroy Vermont. There was one time where like Vermont was like cut off, or at least most of it was cut off from the rest of the world, and they were airlifting food in because all the bridges were trashed and people couldn't get out and food couldn't get in. It was actually kind of a mess. And usually you think going inland like Vermont would save you from a hurricane, but no, not always. Sometimes they can be very devastating to people inland. Lisa Field says, I was just in North Carolina to see Tears for Fears, and it was super hot in the outside, close to 90, very humid. Ugh. The Cold Rage of TV says, dumb dog. Let me guess, you're a Warriors fan. I think Mr. Led is too. Ziploc says, probably will go to 7 games. Yeah. But either way, it's not going to be over tonight. But it will. The Celtics will still be in it after tonight. Mock my words. Everyone else does. The Gold Ridge of TV says, okay, Thrash, what's invisible and smells like carrots? I'm going to say snowman at Miami Beach. That's all I got. That's an old dad joke. What did one snowman say to the other snowman? Do you smell carrots? So I'm assuming a melted snowman would also smell like carrots. That's my educated guess. Oh, I just saw bunny farts. I like mine better, but I will accept yours wholeheartedly with a jolly good laugh. Hearty laugh. Zuplik says Hurricane Sandy devastated New York City, a rarity. I know. And, fortunately, New York doesn't get a lot of them because the more high-tech you are, the more easy it is to get wiped out. We had one called Hurricane Bob. Yes, I know. Hurricane Bob that hit, it was like the day after my birthday, just about 30 years ago. And it put the Cape back into like the Stone Age. About 6 days, going to bed by candlelight, eating canned ravioli out of the can. It gets old after a while. After around day 4 is when I started to get worried because that's when the water pressure dipped. You would, because we still had water at least, but around day 4 you turn it on, it would go like that, trickle, 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 and I'm like, yeah, why am I getting scared? But they dug us out. They dug us out. Let's see. Oh, Trader Myers says peeps. I like that. Super. Let's see. What do we do? So Blake says canned ravioli isn't so bad. No, canned ravioli is actually pretty good. But when it's all you could eat for 6 days because you don't have a stove, you start to get sick of it. Oh, and I remember I had these beautiful, awesome, amazing steak tips that I got for my birthday when I was going to have the next day because I had to work on my birthday that year. And we had no power, so I couldn't cook the steak tips. No worries, no worries. I had this old grill out in the backyard. I decided to fire that up, and I went cook the steak tips on an open grill. Well, the grill had rusted out on the bottom, and when I went to turn the tips over, the legs poked through the entire basin of the grill, fell in, tipped over, backside of a tea kettle. The hot coals spilled onto my lawn, which burst into flame. And I just stood there going, so much for my steak tips. I eventually got a garden hose and put them out, but I was thinking about just letting everything burn at that point. Just not fair. It's just not fair. Oh, look who's in the house. Denny Staten from Daily Dan's The Good Stuff. Hey, I did not know you were on. Yes, this was totally impromptu, Dan. Glad you could make it. Don't know how much longer we're going to be continuing. This was just to keep everyone loose to what's going on. One of the big things I've been telling people about is how you and I are all set with our first of many collaborations. The first one, of course, being Bigfoot and Wild Boy. I just haven't had a chance to set up the StreamYard yet. I should have it up by the beginning of next week. And of course, my granddaughter's last week of school is next week. So I'll have more free time during the day to make sure all the things are set up. And we have a number of others, some comic book collaborations, some post apocalyptic stuff we wanted to do. We have a backlog of things we want to work on, but we have to open with the one we've been talking about for weeks, if not months, the Bigfoot and Wild Boy. But Dan, glad you couldn't make it. And as you can see, I'm blinking again. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to hold out, but I'm just going to scroll through. Everybody's saying hello to Dan, as I will. Thrash, your sand is going down. My sound is kaput. I think it just blinked out for a second. Because, like I said, there's some electrical storms going through here. But Lisa Field says I would have cried. Yes, I did. Duplex says sounds like a National Lampoon Vacation. Very similar, very very similar. Only there was nobody there to kind of like roll their eyes at me like I was a moron. Oh my gosh! Look who just showed up. John Collins in the house says hello everyone. Hello to you too, John. So good to see you. John, you might find this interesting because I'm betting that you like the old classic John Borman film Excalibur. If you remember Owen from the Golden Ray, not for the Golden Rage, bite my tongue, from the Action Elite, he did a show with Ian and I a couple months ago. I was on the Action Elite last night and we talked about John Borman's Excalibur. He's actually posted it on his channel, so if you have an interest, please check us out. And let's see. Oh, Mr. Lynn says, just the volume is lower on my phone anyway. Well, you know what? It's probably an auto set because I'm used to have my microphone being on my headset, so when I move around, it doesn't impact it because it moves with me. I'm using this very nice microphone that Dave gave me as a gift, and it stays put. Now it's set up where it sort of auto corrects, but as I move around a lot, I think, uh, well, it just went back up. Yeah, probably because I moved it. Daryl Johnson says, practice that metal Welk. Would that be good night, sleep tight, and pleasant dreams to you in sort of a heavy metal Metallica sound? John Collins says, I can hear you well. Good. Good to hear that you can hear me. I'm and John, I'm sure you heard about Owen's wife, Joyce. That's the big thing I'm making sure everybody knows about, and we're all observing prayers for her. But uh, just in case it fell through the cracks, yes, his wife passed away yesterday. Dealing with the good stuff. New video up. Now ET turns 40. Join the good stuff, and he gave a link. So everyone, please feel free to attach to Dan's link for this ET's birthday. Superflex says the sound was always fun. The video sometimes freezes up. Yeah, that's again. I think the video issues are because of the electrical storms in my area. But I'm glad to know the sound is good. Lance Jeffin says, Dan, also The Thing turns 40 as well. John Carpenter's The Thing is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I should do a show on that one. I really should. I really should. Oh, and Daily Dan says very sad about Ian's wife. Lisa Field says 40. I feel old. Me too. Me too. Oh, what do we got? Oh, it's after 7:30 now. Like I said, I just want to do a few updates for you folks. I'm glad so many of you nice people showed up and we had some fun. But I'm thinking that we should probably wrap things up now because again we got Dave's show in just a little bit, and I don't want to like stomp on his little toesy woesies. So any further things you guys want to throw, and I'll give it another minute or two for you guys to throw comments in the comments section. Zuplik says the fog was great too. It sure was. The fog and the mist make a great double feature. Although I like the novella The Mist better than the film. They changed a few things for the film that I thought didn't quite work. It made it a better feature film, but it kind of took away from the whole Stephen King angle. But that's just me. Let's see. Tristan says, I feel heartbroken for Joyce and Ian. Yes, I believe we all do. Superblick says, review The Fog. You know, I will. I will review The Fog. I love John Carpenter. Tristan Meyer says, nice seeing you, Robert. It's so great to see you too. It's so great having you guys all on board. And I'll probably see you in the next half hour or so because we're all going to be joining Dave in the very, very soon. Zublik says more comic reviews too. I have a couple in mind, by the way. I have both Mad magazines that I think would work very nicely and old vintage comics. So I will have comic aplenty. Superplex says 25 minuets. I'm assuming that means until Dave's show. I thought it was 8:30, but you know what? People always tune in late and start having fellowship before Dave gets there. So I think you're right. John asks, is Dave doing a live stream? Yes, he is. In fact, that's the primary reason why I'm going to wrap up this live stream now. Okay. Wait. You folks, it was great to see you. I'm glad I was able to get this information out. I'm glad you folks had a fun while you were here. And looking forward to seeing you all in Dave's chat, which will be very, 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 very soon. Mr. Lid goes on to say, you can do a review of all Adrian Barbeau's sci-fi movies. I certainly could and have a lot of fun doing it. Superblick says, nice chat, T-Pawns. And Lance Jeffin says, Lisa, they're here. They're here. They're here. And Lisa says, see everyone. Yes, folks, I'll see you all very, very soon. I'll see you actually at Dave's live chat in just a little bit. For those of you who can't make it, I'll see you, I'm sure, somewhere. And folks, looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.